So hi there students, welcome back to another video lesson. So for the continuation of our discussion for this quarter, so after nating i-discuss yung introduction ng lesson natin for fourth quarter, which is illustrating measures of position, so we will now be discussing one by one the types of measures of position. So we have quartiles, deciles, and percentiles. So yung una muna nating i-discuss is yung quartiles. Now, data are categorized into two. So meron tayong tinatawag na ungrouped data, 'di ba? And then meron tayong group data. So paano natin malalaman na ang isang data is ungrouped siya? So kapag po yung natin, yung number of data natin is less than 30 na. Okay. So, kung naman, 30 scores, 29. Ayun. Considered sila as ungrouped data. Okay. And then, kapag more than 30 na, yung ating data, that is the time na gumagamit na tayo ng table. Yung ating tinatawag na frequency distribution table. So, meron tayong mga paraan kung paano ang pag-determine, pag-solve ng quartiles of ungrouped data. So, ang una muna nating method na gagamitin is yung Mendenhall and Sincich method. And then yung pangalawa, yung next na video lesson natin is yung linear interpolation naman. So, kung anong pinagkaiba ng dalawang method na yan, so malalaman nyo po sa ating mga video lessons. So, to start our discussion, let us identify first the lesson objective. So, of course, our lesson objective will be calculating specified measure of position of the data. So, for this video lesson nga, sabi ko nga, we will first discuss quartiles of ungrouped data using the Mendenhall and Sincich method. Okay, so lahat muna ng ungrouped data, quartiles, deciles, and percentiles ay i-discuss natin. And afterwards, i-discuss ko po kung paano gumawa ng frequency distribution table. So, paano i-organize yung ating data using a frequency distribution table. And afterwards, i-discuss na po natin yung group data ng quartiles, deciles, and percentiles. So, let us have the definition of quartile. So, what is a quartile? So, quartiles are the scores which divides the data into 4 equal parts. So, ayan. So, di ba meron tayong quarters? So, di ba yung school year natin, inahati siya into 4 quarters. So, ayan, 4. So, kaya yung mga scores, yung data, dinidivide niya into 4 equal parts. So, ang tawag po doon is quartiles. And then, 25% of the distribution are below the first quartile. 50% are below the second quartile or the middle quartile, and then 75% are below the upper quartile. So, para mas maintindihan nyo yung mga percentage na yan, so let us have an illustration. So, ayan. Halimbawa, ito po yung ating data. Halimbawa, buo pa yan. And then, kapag hinati po natin yan, data na yan, into 4 equal parts, makikita po natin dyan na meron tayong lower quartile, middle quartile, and then upper quartile. So, yung 25% na sinasabi ko kanina na below the first quartile, ito po yun. Ito, di ba? Ito ang position ng lower quartile. Yan. Ito siya, yung naka-arrow na yan. So, ibig sabihin, itong portion na to, below the first quartile po yan. And then, 50% are below the second quartile. So, middle quartile, ito naman po siya. So, nasa gitna. Okay, so ibig sabihin, 50% ang mas mababa sa kanya, diretso. And then, kapag naman upper quartile, ito, yung nasa bandang dulo. So, ibig sabihin, 75% ang mas mababa sa upper quartile. So, again, yung middle quartile natin dyan is yung tinatawag na median. So, let us now have Mendenhall and Sincich method. So, using statistics for engineering and the sciences, they define a different method of finding quartile values. So, ito po yung ating method na dinidiscuss. So, yung una muna natin, of course, is yung lower quartile. So, denoted as L. So, lower. And then, in order for us to determine the position of the first quartile, we have to use the formula 1/4 times the quantity of n plus 1. So, why 1/4? Because yung position po kasi ng first quartile, ito po yung 25% ng mga scores. Okay. And then, n here is the number of observations, yung total. Okay. So, bago kasi natin kunin yung value nung quartile 1, yung lower quartile, kailangan muna nating i-locate yung position. That is why kailangan nating gamitin yung formula na yan. And then, upon substituting n to the formula, we have to round off our answer to the nearest integer. And then, if L, yung nakuha nating position, falls halfway between two integers, we usually round up. Okay, so the L element is the lower quartile value. Okay, so like for example, yung nakuha nating quartile 1 value, yung position, yung location na ating quartile 1, halimbawa, nakuha natin is 3.5. So, 3.5. Okay, so, kailangan nating kunin yung exact location nung ating quartile 1. So, yung 3.5, i-round up natin siya as 4. So, ibig sabihin, kapag in-arrange natin yung mga data in ascending order, yung fourth data natin, yun po yung quartile 1 value. So, again, yung 3.5 dyan, ito lang po yung position, yung location ng ating quartile 1, yung lower quartile. So, sa upper quartile naman, so denoted as U. So, in order to determine the position of the upper quartile, Q sub 3, so we will be using the formula 3/4 times n plus 1. So, kung kanina, lower quartile, 1/4, that is 25%. So, for upper quartile, 3/4 is because 75%. Okay, so location po kasi ng upper quartile is yung 75%. Okay, no ating data. And then, again, n is the number of observations, yung total. Okay. So, for lower quartile, so, nire-round up natin yung sagot, pero sa upper quartile naman, nire-round down natin. Okay, like for example, the position of U, nakuha natin is halimbawa 8.5. Ayan. Yan yung location na ating upper quartile. So, imbis na i-round up natin yan, magiging 9. Kukunin natin yung 9 position, hindi po yan. So, i-round down natin, ibig sabihin, magiging 8 lang. So, from the data, kukunin natin yung pang 8 na score. Okay, so, that will be the value for quartile 3, not the 9th data. Again, mag-round down lang po tayo. So, for lower quartile, usually round up. So, I hope it's clear. So, let us have the first example. So, we have here case 1 wherein n is odd. Ibig sabihin, yung bilang ng mga data ay odd. Halimbawa, 7 lang yung data na nakalista. So, considered po yun as odd. So, odd, syempre, ito yung mga numbers na nag-e-end sa 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, so kapag, ayan, yan po yung case number 1 natin. So, let us have an example for that case number 1. So, we have here scores of 15 students of grade 10 FATE in a 50-item summative test. Find the lower and upper quartile. So, as you can see, dito pa lang po sa ating title sa introductory part niya, makikita na natin kung ano yung n, yung number of observation, and that is 15. And 15 is an odd number. Okay. And then, yung highest score natin dito, kung makaka-perfect ang estudyante, is 50. Okay, so dito hindi pa natin kailangan yung highest score and then yung lowest score. So sa group data natin usually, ginagamit yon. Okay, so we have to determine the lower and upper quartile. So ito po yung scores ng 15 students. Ayan. So 23, 36, 19, 20, 47, 6, 14, 35, 41, 28, 32, 50, 11, 25, and 44. Okay. So, sa pag-solve po ng quartiles, deciles, and percentiles, so the first thing that we need to do is to arrange the scores in ascending order. Okay, so what is ascending? Pataas po. So, we start with the lowest value up to the highest value. So, dito, i-arrange natin yung scores. So, mauuna yung pinakamaliit, yung pinakamababang score, which is 6. Ayan. So, ilagay natin 6. So, mas maganda dito is binibilugan natin yung ating mga nililista para hindi tayo nalilito. Okay. So, reminder, kapag hindi po natin in-arrange yung ating mga scores, magiging mali po yung posisyon ng lower and upper quartile. So, kung ano man ang ating kinukuha, sinusolve. Kailangan po kasi accurate yung pagkaka-arrange ng ating mga data. So, after 6, next score will be 11. After that, 14. After ng 14, we have 19. So, punta po tayo dun sa next natin, which is 20. So, 20 ang kasunod. And then, after that, we have 23. And then, 25. 28. And then, next score will be 32. And then, 35. 36. 41. 44. 47. And 50. Okay. So, kung bibilangin natin yan, from 6 up to 50, meron po tayong 15 scores. So, as you can see, naka-arrange na po yung scores natin in ascending order. So, ayan po yung ating nilista kanina. Okay, so, ayan. 6, 11, 14, 19, 20, up to 50. Now, for the next step, we will calculate the position and the value of quartile 1. Okay, so since naka-arrange na yung ating mga scores, now is the time to calculate the position of quartile 1, the lower quartile. So after nating makalculate yung position, pwede na po nating i-identify yung value ng lower quartile. Now, the formula for locating the position of quartile 1 is Q sub 1 is equal to 1/4 times the quantity of n plus 1. Now, we will substitute the value of n. Again, what is n? This is the number of observations. Based from our problem, yung n natin is 15. So, it's because ang mga nakalista ay scores ng 15 students. That is why n is equal to 15. So, 15 plus 1. Next, 1/4 times the sum of 15 and 1 is 16. So, what is 1/4 of 16? That is 4. So, ibig sabihin, yung location na ating lower quartile is yung pang-apat na score. Okay, so, looking at the data na naka-arrange, ayan yung naka-yellow. So, yung pang-fourth data po natin, starting from 6, is 19. Okay, so therefore, the value of the lower quartile is 19. Again, yung fourth po natin dito, ito po yung position. Okay, location. Hindi po yan mismo ang sagot. So, kailangan muna nating makuha yung position, location ng quartile 1 bago natin makuha to. Q sub 1 is equal to 19. Therefore, 19 is the lower quartile. Okay, ibig sabihin 25% ng student score is less than or equal to 19. Next, calculate the position and the value of quartile 3. Okay, so kung kanina, lower quartile, Q sub 1 ang kinuha natin, ngayon naman, we will be calculating the position and the value of quartile 3, the upper quartile. Now, the formula to locate the position of the quartile 3 is different from the formula that we use in calculating the position of the quartile 1, the lower quartile. So, Q sub 3 is equal to 3/4 times the quantity of n plus 1. So, nag-iba po yung ating fraction dito is because we are pertaining to the upper quartile, the 75%. Pero yung n natin dito, ganun pa rin, which is 15. So, 3/4 times n, that is 15, plus 1. So, 3/4 times 15 plus 1, that is 16. And then, pwede nating i-cancel yung 4 tsaka 16. So, 4 tsaka 16 ang GCF nila is 4. So, 4 will become 1. And then, 16 will become 4. Then, multiplying the remaining factors. So, 3 times 4. So, the position of the upper quartile is 12. The 12 data. Okay, so kung ilolocate natin yung pang 12 na data, so pwede naman tayo mag-start dito sa 50 sa pinakahuli. Ito yung pang 15, ito yung pang 14, ito yung pang 13, ito naman yung pang 12. So, ito po yung ating 12 data. So, ibig sabihin, the value of quartile 3 is equal to 41. So what does it mean? 75% of the student scores is less than or equal to 41. So for example number 2, so case 2 natin, where n is even. So even, these are the numbers that ends with 2, 4, 6, 8, and of course 0. So another problem is, below are the ages of 10 students of San Isidro High School. Find the lower and upper quartile. So dito, yung n natin is even. So yan, 10. So nag-end po yan sa 0. That is why considered siya as even. Okay, so ages, mga edad ng mga estudyante ng mga students sa San Isidro High School. So, we're talking about the ages of San Isidro High School students. So, ayan. So, syempre, kapag mga high school students na po tayo, kadalasan, ang pinakabatang edad na meron tayo, yung grade 7, is 11. Okay, and then, halimbawa, kapag nag-grade 12 na siya, so, that is the time na 18 years old na siya, 17 or 18 years old. So, kung hindi siya nag-stop, kung tuloy-tuloy ang kanyang pag-aaral. Okay, so kung mapapansin nyo, yung pinakamababang edad na meron tayo dyan is 11, tsaka 18 naman yung pinaka matanda yung edad. So again, kagaya ng ginawa natin dun sa first example natin, we will arrange the ages in ascending order. Okay, so yung pinakauna nating isusulat dito syempre is 11. Next, after 11, syempre is 12. And then, 13. So, dito kapag nag-appear yung mga data ng twice, thrice, o kung ilang beses man, syempre, sinusulat po natin yun kung ilang beses. Hindi lang once. Like, for example, ito, 14, dalawang beses umulit. So, hindi po pwedeng isang beses lang natin yun isulat. Sulat natin 14 and another 14. So, bilugan natin. And then after that, we have 15. And then, meron tayong dalawang 16. Next, 17, and then 18. So, N natin dito is 10. Okay, so the number of students is 10. Now, ayan, nakasulat na yung ating mga inarrange na ages kanina. So, now is the time to calculate the position and the value of quartile 1. Okay, so Q sub 1 is equal to 1/4 times 10 plus 1. Next, 1/4 times 10 plus 1, that is 11. So, multiply natin 1 times 11, that is 11 over 4. So, pag dinivide natin yung 11 by 4, meron pong remainder yung sagot. Okay. So, 11 over 4, that is equal to 2 and 3/4. So, since kailangan nating in decimal form po yung ating sagot, so 2 and 3/4 is equivalent to 2.75. Therefore, the position of quartile 1 is the 2.75 position. Okay, so since decimal yan, kailangan po natin yan i-round up. Okay, so quartile 1 kasi round up. Pag quartile 3, round down. So 2.75 position will become the third data. So ibig sabihin, ayan, we're looking for the third data. So yun po yung value ng ating quartile 1. So, dito tayo sa mga naka-arrange na data. Kunin natin yung pangatlo. So, start tayo sa 11, and then 12, tapos 13. So, ibig sabihin, yung value ng quartile 1 natin dito is 13. So, what does it mean? So, 25% of the students' ages is less than or equal to 13. Okay. So, less than or equal to, ibig sabihin po, mas mababa or kapareho. Okay. So, ayan. Mas mababa sa 13, 12, and 11. So, dito po yung portion na yan. Dito po yung below the first quartile. Okay. Next naman, we have to calculate the position and the value of quartile 3. So, bago natin yan i-discuss, kung mapapansin nyo, kapag yung N natin is odd, so yung ating nakukuhang posisyon ay eksakto. Pero kapag naman N is even, nakakaroon po ng decimal. So, doon na-apply yung round up and round down usually. Kasi kapag sakto yung sagot, hindi na natin kailangan mag-round up, hindi rin natin kailangan mag-round down. Now, the formula, so Q sub 3 is equal to 3/4 times N plus 1. So, N is 10. So, we will substitute 10. So, that is 10 plus 1. Next, 10 plus 1 is 11. So, we will multiply 3 by 11. That is 33 over 4. So, kapag dinivide natin ng 33 sa 4, we will get 8.25. So, yung position ng quartile 3 is the 8.25th score. So, sabi nga natin, pag quartile 3, we have to round down. So, 8.25 will become 8. So, we are looking for the 8th position. So, ito po yung position ng ating quartile 3. So, kapag exact position na ating hinahanap, the answer is 8.25. The 25th. Okay, so 8 data. So, mag-start tayo dito sa 18. Ito yung pang 10, 17, pang 9, and then 16. Ito po yung ating pang 8 na data. Ibig sabihin, the value of Q sub 3 or the upper quartile is 16. So, what does it mean? 75% of the students' age is less than or equal to 16. So, ayan, yung mga lower than 16, 15, 14, up to 11. So, after natin i-discuss yung process of calculating the position of quartiles of ungrouped data using Mendenhall and Sincich method. So, our next video lesson will be using linear interpolation method. So, just to give you an idea about this method, so using this method, makukuha po natin yung exact value nung lower quartile, middle quartile, and upper quartile. So, kasi dito sa Mendenhall and Sincich method, usually nag-estimate lang tayo dito. So, pure estimation. So, sa linear interpolation, yung exactong value mismo ang ating i-discuss. So, that's all. Thank you.